Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to break down what an e-commerce seven-figure Google Ads account actually looks like, right? I'm going to break down the campaigns that we're running, the ads, the strategy that we've got going on so that you can literally replicate it, copy it for your own brand and get some awesome results, right? My name's George. I run a marketing agency that specializes in running Google and YouTube ads for e-commerce brands. We are called the Paid Search Company, and we're spending well over $500,000 per month on Google ads for our clients. So I think it's fair to say I've got the receipts to talk about this topic. Now, let's jump into it. So first things first, I want to start by going over our kind of strategy, right, when it comes to Google ads. And then I'm going to jump into the account itself and show you how it all fits together, right? So first things first, this is what we call our hybrid approach, right? So it's just our fancy kind of way of saying, what we think is optimal when it comes to running Google ads. So you can see here, we've got top of funnel campaigns, we've got middle of funnel campaigns, and we've got bottom of funnel campaigns, all right? So the top of funnel is for essentially people who do not know our products, right? They're not product aware, they're not solution aware, they may not even be problem aware, right? We are targeting them on visual platforms, so YouTube, right? And obviously we've got demand gen here, which is Google's relatively new campaign type, which is majority on YouTube, but also on Discovery and Gmail. And we're essentially kind of letting them know with photos and videos of our products, like, hey, this is something that you might be interested in, come to our website, right? From there, we are probably going to get, potentially some direct sales, but the goal of those campaigns is just to kind of make the customer problem aware so that they, search up our products or search up our brand down the line. And that's going to allow our middle of funnel campaigns, which are doing really most of the heavy lifting, standard shopping, performance max, traditional search campaigns, to get those direct sales, right? And I mean, these are the heavy hitters. Performance max especially makes up well over 60% of probably any of our clients' revenue in the account, right? So very important campaigns, but top of funnel really helps because with Google Ads, you can really only scale, as far as there is demand, right? When it comes to at least, these middle of funnel campaigns, you can't scale them infinitely, if people aren't searching up the products, right? So what demand gen and YouTube does is it helps to lift that kind of search volume ceiling, and kind of acts like a mini little Facebook ads within Google Ads, right? Because we know Facebook ads is great for top of funnel. YouTube is the second biggest social media site in the entire world, so it's pretty good as well, but it takes a certain approach to crack it, and I'll cover YouTube ads for Ecom in hopefully some future videos, right? So from those campaigns, we're probably going to get a lot of visitors to our product page, right? Which is going to lead to some add to carts and some direct sales. But as we know, unfortunately, people, they don't like to be easy, do they? They're going to abandon their cart. They're going to bounce off the product page. And luckily for us, what happens then is they're actually added to remarketing audiences, right? So they're added to website visitors, abandoned carts, product viewers, whatever. So long as we've got that set up in Google Ads correctly, we can then leverage remarketing campaigns that exclusively target those audiences to show them, targeted ads, which is going to kind of guide them back to the product page and eventually convert. Rule of 7 in advertising says it takes someone 7 times to see a product before they actually buy it. So it's important we do our remarketing, and the higher AOV your product is, the more important remarketing becomes, because it's pretty easy and feasible for someone to buy a $20 product on first landing on the website, but for something like a $100 or a $200 or a $7,000 sauna or something like that, it's going to require a lot of remarketing to work, right? And then obviously we have our branded campaign at the bottom there, branded search. Super important to run. Why? Because it's going to give us more data to work with. The more conversions we get, the better Google Ads gets. And branded search is a pretty surefire way of getting sales. But most importantly, it's going to keep competitors off our backs, right? Competitors are always bidding. Like if you've got a store, a Shopify brand doing, over like 20K a month, you've probably got people bidding on your brand name, right? People are actively trying to steal your traffic. And so you've got to protect that, right? We see it as kind of like a defensive campaign. So really important to run, and we always run it for our clients, right? So this is our kind of philosophy. Now I'm going to show you what this actually looks like in practice. So here we are in a beautiful seven-figure Google Ads account, right? This is looking at the period of 15th of January to 15th of February. And you can see we spent 39,000 Canadian dollars and made 92,000. So, I mean, it's a seven-figure Canadian USD or Canadian dollar account, right? Now the ROAS is 2.3x, which might not seem like crazy to some of you, but The whole goal with this is really we were focusing on scaling incredibly aggressively, right? And this is the thing, if you want to reach, 7 figures with your Google ads, or if you even surpass that, sometimes ROAS has to drop down. And so long as you have really good margins, which this client does, and you understand where your break-even ROAS is, then, why the hell not, right? The more aggressive you can be and the lower the ROAS can be, essentially, this is a Dan Kennedy quote, whoever can pay the most for a customer wins, right? And so it helps and it pays to be aggressive and drop ROAS down sometimes, okay? But obviously, that's when you're at this kind of scale. When you're at lower scale, obviously ROAS matters a lot more because the margin's just not there. But obviously when you're doing near enough 100 grand a month, then it matters less. Anyway, let's jump in. So basically all of the things that you were seeing in the last one, in the last picture there, when I was breaking down the ad account structure, you can see here, right? And we've got some top of funnel campaigns. So we've got demand gen, we've got YouTube Shorts, right? These are spending a really healthy amount and they're generating some great results. Demand gen's never going to look like it's doing an amazing job, but what you'll see is pretty much CPAs across the board drop because there's just more search volume coming in. There's more search intent coming in, right? So it's a really important campaign to have in the account. So we're absolutely nailing top of funnel. And this client has some amazing UGC. In this YouTube Shorts campaign, we're literally recycling whatever they're using on Meta and TikTok. We're just chucking it straight into this campaign and it's just working really well, right? So if you're running Meta ads, which I know you are, if you're a brand owner watching this, you love your Meta ads, then just run some YouTube ads as well. Like literally, it's going to work like 9 times out of 10, right? So long as you set it up correctly. And the way that we like to do things is we like to horizontally scale, all right? So you might be looking at me saying like, whoa, this is like a ton of campaigns, right? Like this is confusing. Yes, there's quite a few campaigns here, but it still follows that structure that I just showed you. It's just we have multiple of each campaign. Why do we have that? So we can actually just increase the daily spend as much as possible, right? It's way easier to horizontally scale than to vertically scale, right? It's much, much easier to do that. Just think about it. Like if you're trying to increase your daily budgets of a campaign up and up and up and up and up, eventually you're going to get to a point where ROAS just drops because Google can't profitably acquire customers at that level of spend, right? But if you instead keep daily budgets reasonable, but just duplicate the campaign and change the targeting, then you've essentially done the same thing where you've doubled the daily budget, but ROAS still stays really healthy because both campaigns are at a point where Google can acquire customers profitably, if that makes sense. And so the way we do that is we segment by location. So this isn't feasible for every brand. Some brands just advertise in the UK or some brands just advertise in the US. But in that situation, you can even do micro-location segmentation, right? Which is a bit of a mouthful, but you can literally segment by state, or you can segment by county, you can segment by England, Ireland, Scotland, for example, or even city. You can get really deep with this, so there's no excuses not to segment. And it doesn't have to be like by location either, it can be by product category, okay? So for this brand, we're pretty much keeping the same products in the campaigns. The only difference is the location. So you can see this PMAX campaign here is the US, this PMAX campaign here is the UK. But we could have done it where, both of the US, but one PMAX campaign is bracelets and one PMAX campaign is, necklaces, for example, because this is a jewelry brand. And that would have worked fine as well. I prefer location segmentation just because the results were a little bit more predictable, because obviously different product categories can have varying degrees of results when it comes to ROAS, etc. But nonetheless, horizontal scaling should definitely be a priority. Anyway, so we've got a top of funnel campaigns here. We've got the middle of funnel campaigns. We've got PMAX. We've got shopping, right? So we've got a standard shopping campaign targeting all products. That's going to help PMAX along by kind of forcing it to spend more on the shopping network, as well as providing us with search terms, right? So PMAX is a bit of a black box. You can't really get too much information from it, but shopping is as kind of transparent as day. That's not a phrase. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, so you can just grab the search terms and you can use those search terms in the PMAX audience. You can add them to the audience if they're converting at a very high rate, or even better, you can add them to the product feed. Now, I was talking to a brand owner the other day and they were like, George, I don't understand it. Like PMAX seems so, easy. You don't really do much work, right? On the front end, not so much. It's a very automated campaign. The work comes in on the back end because the product feed is the biggest predictor of success of a shopping campaign. And PMAX is mostly shopping, let's face it, right? Or at least that's the most profitable part of it. So optimizing your product feed is so important, and shopping campaigns give you, the ammo to do that, right? So we've got multiple different shopping campaigns, targeting different product categories, different products. I believe this one is all products. I believe this one is targeting a specific product, and both are on target ROAS. And then we've got a remarketing campaign, which is obviously what I was mentioning, right? Super important to have remarketing going. This is performing really nicely at 2.4x return on ad spend. And it just, sorry to use this word, but it does just lubricate the entire system, right? And keeps things running nice and smoothly. And then we've got our branded search campaigns here at the bottom of the funnel, right? So both one for the US and one for the UK. So I've actually changed my mind on this. I used to be a big proponent of keeping things simple, minimal campaigns, like all of that kind of stuff. But we see at the agency the biggest success with, quite frankly, accounts that have just like multiple campaigns, more campaigns, because when you only have 4 campaigns, if 2 of them start performing badly, well, that's 50% of the account that's under KPI. Whereas here we have more campaigns, so there's kind of like there's less risk, and it keeps things more consistent. That's one thing. Second thing is obviously scaling. Way easier to scale when you've got multiple campaigns. And yeah, I really love this strategy. I highly recommend that you do this kind of horizontal scaling approach. You take the hybrid approach that we've got here, and once you've gotten to a certain amount of conversions, because don't get me wrong, you can't do this when you're only spending like 50 quid a day or $50 a day. You shouldn't, in fact. This horizontal scaling thing only comes into play when you've surpassed like 10K a month spend, I'd say, and you're really trying to scale, right? At the start, yes, you want to have a few campaigns so you can consolidate data, but once you kind of reach a ceiling with that, then you want to look at, okay, how can I basically duplicate what's here, so that I can like double my spend without tanking ROAS. Oh, I can segment by location, or I can segment by product category, or I can segment by sales volume or whatever. And another great way of doing this as well, if you're a keen Google Ads person, you'll know about this, but if not, you won't, is Product Hero. One example of a brand or a company that does this, but you can actually label and bucket your products, right? So if you've got like a load of SKUs, you can bucket them into high performers, mid performers, low performers, and what we'd call zombies, which are products that aren't getting any impressions. And then you can have a campaign for each of those. So that's just another way that you can segment and increase your daily budgets. Anyway, I'm waffling. I'll stop there. If you need help with Google Ads, if you want to scale your Google Ads faster, your YouTube ads faster for your ecom brand, you can basically just go check us out down below. We've got a bunch of case studies, a bunch of testimonials. And if you want to work with us, you can book a free 15-minute call with me, and we'll literally give you an action plan or an audit. You don't have to do that though. If you want, just stick around and enjoy the videos, because I'm going to be giving all the value away for free. If you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Any questions you might have, I will respond to, I'll endeavor to respond to every single comment. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.